Hey, come on in. Sit down. Stay a while. Let's talk. Glad you stopped by. I was just in the middle of making a grocery list. Um, Grocery lists are awesome things. They never go as planned, and you always buy way too much. But anyhow, today I wanted to thought we would talk about, share, or I would give my opinions on self confidence. It is something everybody needs, and I notice, especially in younger people, it doesn't seem to be quite as prevalent as it used to be. Um, and it can lead us down an interesting path if we don't develop it or have somebody develop to help us to develop it. Self confidence, I believe, is a taught trait. I mean, in some cases it can be natural. It's like anything else. Um, Most musicians learn because they're taught, but every once in a while you got that one kid that's 4 years old that picks up a violin, and within 6 months he's playing professionally and making albums. But for the most part, it's a taught trait. Sorry, I had to turn the YouTube down. I'm watching King of the Zombies, created in 1941. Um, and It's an absolutely great movie. I love old movies, and I can say this is old because it's much older than I am. It's as old as my grandparents would have been. But anyhow, so let's talk about what is self confidence. Well, I mean, I could give you the Webster's version of self confidence, but I'd have to look it up. But I my version of self confidence is comes down to believing in yourself, and that you can achieve anything. Now, I've said in a dozen videos, when it comes to achieving something, you're not always going to be successful at it the first time. It may be something that you have to try again, so to speak, but you will be successful at whatever it is you do. I know. I have failed at everything I've tried, and I have been successful at everything I've tried. Now to build self-confidence, like I said, most people don't start out that way. It's usually instilled in you a little bit in the beginning by your parents, which I believe is, kind of another issue. I don't think parents are being the parents they could be, and I say this being a parent, and I get it because there's not enough time. Which that's kind of a whole other topic for discussion. But what it comes down to is there are a lot of things that we're unable to teach our children because of the way our society's set up. With both parents working, or a lot of single parents working two jobs, things like that. But anyhow, so when do you start learning self-confidence from your parents? Well, it could be when you first learn to walk, and they're encouraging you to take those first few steps. That's the beginning stages of self-confidence. I mean, it may be even sooner than that, but that's the earliest time I can think of, because nobody's certain to walk. I mean, anybody who has kids or has been around small children know that, after they crawl, they start climbing up onto the tables, and they're thinking about taking that step away. So what does the parent, the aunt, and uncle, the adult do? Encourages them. Come on, do it. You can do it. That's like the first steps. So then after that, it could be at one time. I know when I was growing up, it was, when you went out and played baseball or football or, soccer, a sport of some sort, it was encouragement from the stands. Or I know in my case, as I got older, I mean, my dad encouraged me to play baseball. I mean, he even coached, but when he didn't coach, he, was there every day rooting me on, encouraging me. But, I feel like in my job, I see a lot of kids who are kind of lacking in self-confidence, and I think some of that comes from adults in their life being so concerned with bills and making ends meet that they don't take time to always be a family. and give their kids the nurture, no fault of their own, I would like to think, but so it doesn't happen from there, and I think it creates some self-doubt issues, um, and takes away from being self-confident. Instead, it promotes self-doubt because there's nobody around to tell these young adults and children and toddlers that, hey, let's do it. You can do it. Let's be there. And I base that on the fact that I see that a lot in my restaurant with my employees throughout the years, and it seems to be getting worse as time goes by. Um, and it is another part of this, where our kids spend an awful lot of time indoors, maybe not playing, not climbing trees, knowing that, sitting there thinking, all right, I can take this to the next level. I can go up one more branch, or chasing each other around on bicycles, or roughhousing out in the yard, whatever. I mean, is that part of the problem? But, the solution, so here's what I feel could be a solution for this. And this is just one of several, I'm sure, solutions, but it's a thought I had, you know, is I know when I was younger, after my parents divorced, and I became the child of a single household. Not that my dad wasn't ever there, but he wasn't there every day. So my mom worked every day. She worked long hours. Me and my brother and my sister got to spend a lot of time at home by ourselves. And so there wasn't any real encouragement. And I fell into that kind of don't have to do it, didn't push myself, and I let, in my ability to, hold on one second, I'll be right back in just a millisecond. Sorry about that. Fire in the other room. I'm just kidding. I had to run and do something real quick. So anyhow, so when, we were younger, we got left alone a lot, and there wasn't anybody really there to push, hey, you can do this, and a lot of things we wanted to do. Like I said, not my parents' fault by any means. They're a single mom, working all the time, nobody's around. The world changed. But then, I guess on my own, I learned that you got to have a I can do anything attitude, which is basically just building self-confidence. Because I wanted to excel. Self-confidence gives you the ability to excel at anything you do. So I start out in the morning, and I still do this to this day, although now I get told I'm cocky about it. But I've done this since I was a teenager, and I first went into restaurant management, and I knew I wanted to move up and be important. In order to boost my self-confidence, first thing I do in the morning, I look in the mirror, maybe not the very first thing, but close to. At some point, I either look in the mirror or I just think to myself, Brian Smith, you are amazing and you can do anything. And if you don't believe that, ask Chris, she'll tell you. I really do that. And I promote it throughout the day. Now, that's a good start, If you do that and then top it off with, say, like, I want to build a new project, or there's something you want to do, and you've never done it before. Because there's lots of things that I've learned how to do that I didn't have an instruction manual. And there were times, a long time, where YouTube and Google didn't exist, let alone have the ability to tell me how to do something. I did it by trial and error. But I had the self-confidence to start that. And then as you get older and you grow into adulthood, not only does it that your self-confidence, the importance of thinking to yourself every day, I am an amazing person, I can accomplish this, no matter what the task brings, can lead into other things. It can lead into a better job, a promotion at work. It can give you the courage and self-confidence to meet your wife or husband. I mean, depending on who you are. If I didn't have the courage to, ask Chris out, we would have never been married. I wouldn't be happy. Well, I mean, I might be happy, but who knows? I definitely wouldn't have my kids, or I wouldn't be where I am today without self-confidence. Now you could say, well, yeah, Brian, you're not a millionaire or anything, but that wasn't ever my goal. My I tell people all the time, my goal in life was never to be rich. I have no desire to be rich. I want to be able to fix the washer when it breaks. To me, that's a sign of wealth. That means I'm comfortable in my living and I'm being successful. But self-confidence, well, it can get you to achieve those things. And people have a tendency to flock to and trust people with self-confidence. Now, it's not easy to get that. It's not easy to maintain it sometimes. But it's like anything else. Bad habits you learn quickly. Good habits, self-confidence, take time. So you may get up some mornings and go, I've got this, and you just don't have the oomph to do it. That's okay. It's like anything else. It doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean you've taken 3 steps back. That's just natural. Good habits take a while to form. That's what makes them good. It's like anything else. The rocky road may be the rough road to take, but you feel much more rewarded at the end when you get to your goal. The easy path, sure, it's quick, but it's not, most of the time, not the best path. It can lead to hardship and heartache. I would much rather, I know in my case, when it comes to something like that, I would much rather take the right road, the rocky road, and let's say earn my money the honest way, and be able to say, yeah, I did that. I'm the man. I'm awesome. Building self-confidence, rather than, say, dealing drugs and earn it the quick, fast way, which can lead to bad things like going to jail or prison. Or worse, you could end up dead. But having self-confidence in oneself also means that you have the ability, say you have somebody who's picking on you, or somebody that's trying to bring you down. Well, building your self-confidence will give you the ability to go, you know what, you're wrong, man. Because you, and I got this, and 9 times out of 10, if you're being picked on or bullied or being told you're a loser or worse, I will deal with this with, I haven't had to deal with it yet, but I'm sure the time will come with Abby, our youngest, who you've met in plenty of videos. With her having Down syndrome, I'm sure there's going to come a time in her life where there's going to come up to her, and people are going to come up to her and say not nice things. I hope not. I would like to think society's better than that, but I know the reality of it is that's probably not true. So me and Chris worked very hard to instill self-confidence in her. And that way, with that self-confidence, she'll go, I know you're wrong. She'll think to herself, at any rate, I know you're wrong, and ignore that person and keep that person out of her life. Remember, people are bringing you down. You don't need them in your life. And if it's like somebody at the grocery store that's saying things like that, chances are good those people don't have self-confidence and they're jealous. Sorry, I just got handed a note by the press secretary, Christina Smith. And she's right. Hold on. Let me read this real quick. It's just 2 brief sentences. That's true. Okay, so press secretary just brought me a note. As I said, because I love you and you were like my do-all. She just wanted to know why I call her things like press secretary, producer, director. Because she quit being my cameraman. That's why. And left me to do this all myself. But anyhow, so she says, and she's right, the difference between being self-confident and being conceited. I don't really know what the difference is, but because I'm awesome, I'm just kidding. There is a difference. When you're self-confident and not cocky, you don't have to tell people you're good. You know, you don't have to tell people you're confident because, you know, where being conceited, you're like, oh, I'm amazing. Like what I just did when I went, you know, I don't know the difference because I'm amazing. That's being conceited. That's being cocky. Confidence, once you gain it, you know, you earn confidence. You go out, you do it. You're confident in your abilities. I am confident in my abilities to manage. I am confident in my abilities to be a pretty good dad. Not amazing. I'm not great. I'm not perfect. You know, learning parenting is something that's a skill all on its own, and it's never the same. I have 4 children, 4. All 4 of them are completely different, have completely different needs, wants, desires, goals, attitudes. You know, parenting is not a one size fits all. But what you can show them is, you know, I tell my kids all the time when they're in doubt, you know, look, you're a Smith, you can do this. You know, and you can do the same thing. Look, I'm a Johnson, you can do this. You know, that's the difference. A conceited person or a cocky person will be like, oh yeah, I'm amazing, I'm great, I'm, you know, the greatest of all time, and then 9 times out of 10 they're horrible. One of the characters in the Harry Potter series was like that, and I want to say it was the last movie, second to last movie, where he was the greatest wizard of all time, and he wasn't. You know, he relied on other people's greatness to make himself look great. That's kind of like being conceited. Which ties in, I mean, we've been kind of talking about the other thing that she had written down for me that's an amazing point is, and this is what's so cool about self-confidence, is it will influence others. Your self-confidence, you know, when I go into my store to manage, okay, I've been managing forever. I mean, decades, forever. And so I know a lot. I'm knowledgeable. I don't know everything because managing a restaurant, it varies day to day. New adventures every day. It's like a choose your own adventure every day. But because I have self-confidence and I have the ability to use that to accept a challenge or a new situation, my employees see that. And when they see that, they go, oh, well, if he can handle that, I can do that too. You know, and they start to take that on in life. You know, what you bleed out into the world, so to speak, whether it's hatred, love, kindness, self-confidence in this case, it flows and it surrounds you. One of the first things you learn in management is if you come into the shop with the restaurant with a negative attitude, that negative attitude will influence everybody in your kitchen. If you're having a bad day, they all of a sudden, doesn't matter how great their day was going, gone. You know, so the same things with self-confidence. You know, if you walk in and you are confident and you are ready to go, you know, it spreads. It does. It takes time, and it's something you can teach. You know, and like I said, I get it as a parent, as an adult. It's not always there's not always time to teach something like that, but it's a start. I just want you to know self-confidence is a useful tool in your wheelhouse. And I think it would help a lot of people along. I know I don't have but a few subscribers, but if I can talk to those few subscribers and then they talk to other people, then it builds it. You know, I can honestly say I am confident in my kindness. I'm confident in my love for people. I am confident that I can be supportive. You know, I mean, I have lots of things that I'm confident in. Some things I'm conceited in, but I'm confident I'm not going to do it right all the time either. You know, you have to be confident in your conviction. Walk in the room like you know what you're doing. Just don't brag that you know what you're doing. Just do it. You know, that's confidence. Conceited brags. Confidence just does. All right. Well, I hope you got something out of this. That's my spiel on it. I'm running near the 20-minute mark, and I'm trying really hard to kind of shift my videos so they're not quite as long, if possible, but not always. Sometimes I got a lot to say. Sometimes we're cooking something that takes a minute. So this week, I think we're going to for dinner. I'm going to try to have it out earlier on Wednesday, but if not, I apologize. Things get crazy and hectic. Wednesday's 1 or 2 days off, but I really like to cook dinner for my family and show you guys something new. So this Wednesday, I don't hold me to it yet, but I think we're going to do a French onion chicken. That may not hold true because I've really got a hankering for stuffed peppers, which is probably what we'll do. But we're going to do stuffed peppers 2 different ways. I don't do them like the old, like your mom or grandma might do, where they stuff them full, stick them in the oven with tomato sauce. We don't do that. It makes the pepper all mushy, loses flavor. It's horrible. So we will do whole stuffed peppers and half stuffed peppers, and I'll give you my recipe for the filling. I don't use rice either, but I do use a ton of cheese, meat, and seasoning. So that's probably what we'll do Wednesday. Thursday, we may bake something. We may talk fish. I don't know. Or we may do both. Haven't decided yet. I am going to show you, though, Wednesday, or heck, I may even do it today, even at the end of this video. But the seeds we planted a couple weeks back, starting to go. We've got starter leaves on tomatoes. We've got cucumbers that are popping up. We've got jalapenos and poblanos that are popping up. Habaneros that are trying really hard. My green peppers, or my bell peppers in general, all 4 colors, they're trying really hard to pop up, but they haven't quite got there yet. But there's just so many amazing things going on with the plants right now. So we'll either take a look at that at the end of this video, which I doubt, because I'm at 22 minutes. Like I said, I'm trying to keep it going close. So we'll probably look at it before we cook tomorrow. All right? Anyhow, self-confidence. Make sure you put that in your wheelhouse. Get up in the morning. Tell yourself that you're amazing and that you got this and nothing can stop you. All right? That's the important thing. Nothing can stop you. You start to believe that, you'll pass it on to everybody in your world. All right. I love you. Tell somebody else you love them. It's going to make their day a whole lot better, I promise. And I will talk to you later. All right? Have a great day.